Okay, this is going to be hard, hopefully in a good way. Um, this may go up on my YouTube, we'll see. Today's a lot. Like last night was a lot. I posted stuff on Instagram about how I'm get closer here, so maybe you can hear. I posted that I felt like it wasn't a pain in my chest. It was like this sternum, or sort of to the right here, in here, like something trauma needed to come out, like because I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I have a very severe version of it, where my nervous system just reacts at times to things, and I don't know why. And usually I know why. This time I don't know why. And so I took a shower. And I thought, well, this goes back to very basic things. So I hope this will help someone. The reason I'm doing this is it'll hopefully help me. Um, get closer. Shit. Well, whatever. The the shirt I'm wearing, I'm sort of preparing for this, which is interesting because this is like I had my girlfriend on September 11th, 2001. Um, you know, she and her friends did they're used to doing their own sweat lodges and things like that, stuff that I didn't really get into. I would be more open to now. But and what they did was I was largely numb to most of it, because I was a much more closed up person back then. The reason I bring this up, however, is these people came from work, right? Their faces were very closed. Mine stayed closed for the most part, but it was very closed. And then once they got into the sweat lodge and got around people that they loved, they just started wailing, like oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. And I don't believe in God. I mean, I'm a more militant feeling days. I'm an atheist, but I'm really agnostic at my core. Um, so and no amount of convincing is gonna make me change my mind. So let's just get that out of the way. But this is for me. This is for me, and this is for anybody who goes through this level of trauma. I don't care what it looks like. I do, I do care what your trauma looks like. I care about a lot of people, what makes them tick, what makes their makes them have trauma. So then sometimes I gotta face it myself. Often I gotta face it myself. And this is one of those times. I'm getting it on camera because, well, one is I don't want to do this. I don't want it to come out, but it has to. This is necessary grief, necessary agony, necessary stuff that has to come out, and I want to do it here and not in the damn hospital. I'm not having problems with motor skills or anything like that like I used to. I did last year, when I was hospitalized. This shirt, by the way, I wore very intentionally for this, which I've shown to some of you before. It says, I forget what it says. I hope you heal from the things that you still cry about when no one is watching. I hope. Okay. Well, I have what I've termed my cry pillow. I also, in the other room, I have my weighted blanket that I hug. Maybe this will do for the time being, but with all this stuff that happened, with the fact that I was, I don't know how this is gonna go up on Instagram, so I don't know how Instagram will probably take this down for violating something. I don't know what. So I'm gonna say the R word didn't happen to me, which it did. The R word happened to me when I was probably 10 years old. I just figured that I went out last year, late last year, when I had my trauma explosion, my nervous system explosion. This explosion will hopefully be a little bit less than that. But I'm likely to be very tired when I'm done. So anyway, So I had this thing. I went to sleep and I woke up today and it's still here. And it's sort of progressed down to my abdomen, a little closer to my abdomen, which is where my inner child is located. And so I'm struggling with the idea of this being performative because I'm doing it on here, but I wanted to share just. Oh. Now I'm not in danger at all. This far from it, as a matter of fact, which is the good thing about processing this, because grief processing is necessary to get through trauma. It's necessary. There's no way around it. And I have a therapist and just started seeing who seems pretty good, and I see you on this coming Thursday, but it's a little bit of time. I may talk with some friends on the phone, hopefully, or I have one friend I talked to on the phone. I can't hug her because I can't give her a hug, so this is why she lives thousands of miles from me. So I'm feeling the abandonment, they always feel, with when people, pretty much everything is a trigger. I've said that before with me. Everything's a trigger, really. And so to a degree, and so when people, I have to deal with use coping mechanisms to deal with, well, if I feel like someone's pulling away from me, if I feel like someone's abandoning me, I feel like, it all hits to me when I was growing up as a kid, all of it. And so for the people who don't get it, the people who say, well, just do this, just do that, I don't want advice. Let me say that again. I don't want advice. You give me advice, I'm probably gonna tell you to fuck off, and I'm gonna block you because I don't want advice. I know how to cope with this. I'm taking steps to do it. I have done. See what I'm doing? I'm defending myself. So some of this, this energy needs to come out, right? I wish I had I'm gonna try to double up my pillow. I don't want to hit myself, really. I want to hit the pillow. I don't want to hit myself. It's not my fault. I watched my mom do that once. When I was just a kid, she still blames herself for everything. But when she was standing in front of the goddamn doorway and she like this to herself. She started slapping herself in the face. And I was like, now I'm like, why did you do that in front of your child? You guys, Mom and Dad, I needed your help, and you wouldn't give it to me. You wouldn't give it to me. And you wouldn't give it to me. And Dad, you didn't know how. You weren't comfortable with it, so you didn't do it. And you said it never occurred to you how we felt as kids. How do you have kids and have our feeling, not be aware of our feelings? You know how you do that? You have, his mother's, bitch is putting it lightly. Strict, very stubborn, but that's kind of beside the point here. As far as my own life is concerned, my own trauma, what I have to deal with. He was an adult. He was an adult, and he did things that I'm having a very hard time excusing. I don't know if I will ever, not excusing, but the word forgiveness is very difficult. I can't go back and change the past, but nervous system still gets stuff like this that's moving. I think I feel some of the trauma moving, so I'm gonna continue with this. It's snot on my pillow. I'm gonna continue with this. The R word, the SA stuff, I didn't know about until at least December 1st, sometime later in the day last year, possibly after that. Because I have so many gaps in my memory due to how awful my childhood was. My brain just had had enough, even at that point. Sometimes I wonder that, you know, maybe the reason that there aren't too many close to 50-year-olds like myself out there who had this level of nervous system dysregulation trauma, maybe the reason there aren't that many is because they've killed themselves. I mean, maybe they haven't. That's something I refuse to do. I mean, I have my brother, I have my best friend, I have, you know, I have really people I can reach out to. I mean, I don't know. And I came to terms with my death. Not like I'm gonna do it, because I'm not gonna do it, but I came to terms with my death on December 1st in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. So at least I feel like I did. That's what it really felt like with me. My mom came to terms with her death, and she had a stroke many years ago, and they found a small hole in her heart, and she thought, well, if I die, whatever. Kind of. I mean, I haven't pressed her about exactly what she means by that. But I just had a conversation about that fairly recently. And I said, I'm not afraid of death itself. I'm not. I'm afraid of suffering. And that's what I do all day, is suffer. And so this stuff, you know, sitting here with a blanket, with a pillow, whatever you need, literally whatever you need, as long as you're not harming, not hitting yourself, gonna hurt somebody else or whatever it is, that stuff is very important. You know, take your fist and hit the bed really hard, you know, do whatever you have to do. Listen to loud music, dance, because I store trauma all over. Okay, right now I'm storing trauma in my chest, and it sucks. And you know, I went for a walk yesterday, helped me loosen up some trauma on my legs, but then I had to keep doing it over and over again. Why didn't you guys help? I'm gonna need to, when I upload this video, I'm gonna need to preface it by saying that I'm safe, because I am. And I'm safe, and I'm far safer than I would be at any hospital, because I can control this environment. I live by myself, which is good. You know, I can control who comes in and out of here for the most part. I mean, unless there's you know, this is an apartment, unless they need to come in here for whatever reason. They didn't know. I mean, they didn't know that an SA had happened to me. They didn't know that happened. You know, and I didn't know it happened. So they didn't know that. It was as far as I remember, as far as I could tell, weed through all this stuff that's going on in my head. It was a friend. It was at the time it was the brother of a friend at their house. That's all I can delve into right now. And one thing about trauma processing is that you can't do it all at once. This is where it's like in Good Will Hunting, where Will, you know, the whole "it's not your fault" scene, where, you know, it's not your fault, he cries, well, and all of a sudden he's able to drive to California. That's not how this works, unfortunately. Particularly in my case, where you have a childhood full of trauma, you have an adulthood full of trauma, and so then you're gonna try to you know, deal with what you're doing. You know, listen to music, listen to black metal in my case. I listen to black metal, and then I have to, you know. Anyway, there are things that work. Exercise can work, although it can also make me cry. Showers work. It can also make me cry. It's really, you know. So, I just wish they'd help me. They were supposed to help me. They were my parents. They were supposed to have helped me. They were supposed to let me be a child. You know, they were supposed to have let me do that. They were supposed to have let me do that, and they didn't. So many things I'm learning how to do for the first time, and I'm nearing 50. I mean, to a lot of people, this is ludicrous, right? I don't think I'm given the massive literal fall I had. I knew my legs were failing. I'm not gonna go. I don't want to re-traumatize myself by going through what happened last year, but and earlier this year, but okay. So the trauma has to come out in one way or another. This is a safe way for it to come out. I have to remember to lower my arms, you know, shake things out. I don't want to go for a walk, even though it might be good for me. I don't want to cry during it. Maybe I can cry during this and go for the walk. Maybe that'll work. One thing I'm avoiding here is the R word, the what happened. I'm avoiding it, but I'm not sure if I should process that now. I mean, now I'm thinking, oh great, do people who are watching this want to hear me process this? Probably not. And again, if you're looking at this, maybe you need, I don't know. But in any case, what I need to do is the whole reason I'm filming this is for myself, but also for someone else to see it. Maybe it helps them. Maybe it helps. Maybe. So. Okay, I feel like the trauma moved a bit. Ow. You know. Now the trick will be trying to get this properly annotated when I get it up on when I go on the when I upload this. This upload's going to take some time, so I'm going to plug it in when I do it because it's 18 minutes. So so that's what part of this looks like. Part of what's safe, in my opinion. I have a bachelor's in social work and I have a very psychology bent. My idea was reason I went back to school to become a social worker. I wanted to do a licensure, to get licensed to be an LCSW, and maybe at some point in my life I could do that. I'm not prepared to do that now for obvious reasons. But I don't know. So I guess I'm gonna get off this camera, shake out my arms like I've been doing, which is always a good thing. Shaking out your arms if you can. You know, somebody one of my groups showed me, you know, doing this to yourself, which was good. You know, getting the blood flowing, and also, you know, where you're holding trauma, like in your arms and stuff like that. So I'm exhausted, so I'm going to stop this and then upload it and see what happens. Thanks.